She's given people harmful information, telling them that their babies chose to die. She told people with bipolar disorder that they didn't have a mental health condition. It was in fact a spiritual issue. She then got 2 children exorcised. These people have been speaking out against her. She's been going around attacking them. The lady who Linzi performed the exorcism on her and her children, Linzi has now called Child Social Services on her. Then she called Child Social Services on us, and then she called the police and told them we were effectively trying to kidnap our own child and take her out of the country. Then when we show people the lengths that she'll go to stop this information coming out, she fakes her own death in her live, then creates a profile that was Karen's mother, who just passed a week and a half before. She makes another video, clearly watching a recording of the live. She's filming herself saying, look, I was just minding my own business. I was hoping to start this new year on a clean sheet of paper, fresh foot forward, all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to do some mopping up over what happened just before Christmas, over Christmas, and what's happening now. I didn't want to have to make this video because I didn't want to give this person any more attention than they're trying to get, but they are doing everything to cause a problem. And when I say a problem, this is now a very serious police matter that involves harassment and now stalking. This person has left a digital footprint everywhere that shows they have been stalking me on all my social media profiles, including LinkedIn. They've been stalking Jen, my wife. They've been stalking my brothers, our children. They've been involving our children because they are just desperate to save their reputation. They think the way that they can do that is by damaging someone else's. So unfortunately, I have to address this. This story I'm about to cover talks about demonic possession, involvement of the police, involvement of child social services, stalking, harassment, bullying, mental abuse, deception, lies, and a whole host of horrible things that sum up what this person is about. Before I go into the drama of what's happened now, recently, over Christmas, and what's going on now, I'm going to have to go back and give you some history on this, because this is something that started about 3 years ago. Now, 2 years ago, I did a video on this person, Linzi Jones. That's a profile, Linzi Jones Shop, Linzi Jones Magpie Moon. She's changed her name a number of times. She used to be called the Spiritual Counsellor. She also goes under the name of Rosemary Nagy. Linzi Jones is not a psychic medium. She's someone who claims to be a psychic medium, and what she does is she relays information that she's got from spiritual books, theories, ideologies, and relays those as readings to people. She's told people that their babies chose to die.
If you have ever lost a baby or had to terminate a baby, listen up. What I always tell everyone is that that baby's soul contracted to be lost, not to worry, and that they're okay and they agreed to it, and it was all agreed before they even came here with you. I did a reading today for a lady who suffered an abortion when she was just a young teenager. It was a necessary thing to go through. I casually explained, don't worry, this is exactly what the child incarnated for. They came here to offer you this lesson.
She's told people who've lost their siblings that their siblings were being held down by demons, and that Linzi was able to free and release them from their grasp.
She was very, very tired and being pulled down by demons, and she's still healing. It took a while for her to cross over, as it sometimes does in these cases, but she is over now.
She's also told people that because their loved one took themselves over, that will send karmic shockwaves through the rest of the family, and all the souls in the family will be punished for it.
The people who do unalive come back and have to re-experience, I would say probably worse, until their soul learns. It's the only crime that you can really commit karmically, and you're choosing to exit. You're effectively choosing to turn your back on the contracts, which means you're turning your back on the contracts of your soul pod, you're turning your back on the contracts of karma. When you do this, like I say, you are sending shockwaves through karma and through all of those people and their contracts. That will deeply affect their contracts and how they've got to come back and repeat lessons. If you want to know more, my name is Linzi Jones.
Stuff like that. Someone's own personal belief or judgment has no place in a mediumship reading. We are without judgment. We are neutral. It's also not a nice thing to say to people, mediumship or otherwise. But Linzi does that. So how do I know Linzi is not a medium? Well, if we go back 3 years, Linzi signed up to join my beginner class. She signed up before Christmas and then decided that she couldn't afford it, probably because of Christmas coming up or whatever. And at this point, I consider Linzi a friend, but this was the point she turned. She asked for a refund and I gave it to her. It had a few days processing time to give her the refund, but I did it because I felt sorry for her because it was coming up for Christmas. 2 weeks later, she announces that she is a medium to everybody. No training, no development. She just read some spiritual books and she's saying she's a medium, charging for readings as well. If you looked at her profile at that point, all you'd find is her commentary on the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Yeah, that's how long ago it was.
Who remembers how I started on TikTok? The Amber and Johnny thing.
Then suddenly, overnight, she starts talking about mediumship, spirituality, and starts giving readings to people and charging for readings that she's not qualified to give. She then decided to also start a circle. For anyone who doesn't know, a development circle is where you get a group of people together and help them develop their mediumship abilities. So Linzi's not a psychic. You need to be an experienced medium before you lead a circle. She's not. So she started one. God knows what she was teaching. She wouldn't let any of the participants communicate with each other individually. She was controlling the conversation. Eventually, people got wise to this, but I'll come to that in a moment. Linzi also claims to be a level 4 counsellor. She's not. She was charging people in her circle for her therapist services. One couple in the circle were paying Linzi for marriage guidance counselling. She's not a therapist, so God knows what she was telling them. But what she told everybody else in that group was all their personal, private, intimate details about their marriage and their marital issues. She's just very good at getting information out of people and getting people to believe that what she says is the truth. These people started to get wise to Linzi's behaviour and started speaking out. They'd then get removed from the group. When Jen and I started doing awareness videos on Linzi Jones, these people from Linzi's circle started stepping forward, reaching out to us. We had a video conference call with some of them and they told us everything that had happened. All these stories started coming out. She hurt so many people. And we said, so sorry this has happened to you. We can't do anything unless we have facts. So they provided evidence. One lady in the group was told by Linzi that she didn't have bipolar disorder, even though that's what she'd been diagnosed with. Not only that, but her 9-year-old and her 15-year-old children were both possessed by demons. And Linzi ordered an exorcism on those children. Illegal exorcism. This is the police report. So a police report was filed against Linzi. So we created awareness videos and her circle numbers dwindled. We just provide awareness for people so they can make their own minds up. It's not for us to dictate who people should and shouldn't follow. We do believe that people should have all the information to hand before they make their own decisions. If they choose to ignore that information, that's completely up to them. Fast forward a couple of years, we were calling out psychic medium Dean because there was a stack of evidence that suggests very strongly that he is being fraudulent with his live shows. The evidence very strongly points to the fact that Dean uses your social media, your obituaries, anything you can find about you online to relay that information and pretend it's a reading from spirit, from your loved one in spirit. Sally Cudmore inserted herself into that conversation too. She said in her own words, I believe I'm next. As it transpires, Sally uses a very similar method. She uses your social media. And Sally wasn't just defending a position saying, no, I'm not using social media. Sally was making up all kinds of lies about us, and we counted every single one. Linzi, however, saw that Sally was going on the attack and saw this as her opportunity to get some revenge for the awareness that we had created about her. Linzi sent some falsified information to give to Sally as ammunition to fire against us. Linzi was also dragging Sheila, Spiritual Yoda, Tony, whatever his name is, all of them into this little squabble. To Sheila's credit, Sheila saw through Linzi's lies and responded. And if you watch Linzi's response to Sheila, that didn't go down so well. So Sheila, I want to thank you for that, for seeing the truth. And this is bringing us up closer to the present time. Because Linzi was inserting herself into a situation that didn't concern her, Jen started creating some more awareness videos. Some of the people from Linzi's original circle, who Linzi had harmed, have found the strength and courage to create their own videos and add those to what Jen was making to drive awareness about Linzi. I'll show you a quick clip of some of those here.
To all the people who are defending Linzi, this isn't anything to do with a vendetta between Misfit Mediums and Linzi. This all started 2 years ago by Linzi herself.
And if you are catching up, my old therapist who was a medium, yeah, none of them things. And I'm realising that she used my confidential therapy sessions to prey on me, I suppose, when she was doing the so-called mediumship. I'm not the only person that she's done this to. She has taken my grief of losing my son and used it against me.
There is a creator on this platform that calls herself a psychic medium. She called herself the spiritual counselor, and she claimed to be a professional, trained level 4 counselor. I went to visit her. I was supposed to stay for 5 days, but I ended up staying for 2.5 months because she persuaded me to stay.
I just ran from a friend I thought was a friend. She's been abusing me for weeks. I'm in shock. I had to leave while she was out of the house. I actually had to run, and the amount of messages and the abuse that continued after is, I'm still in shock.
How one woman can hurt so many, I do not know.
So those people have all been harmed by Linzi. Now, there's one lady. She goes on TikTok by Oddly Even. She's a fabulous lady. She's the lady that had bipolar disorder and was told by Linzi that it wasn't bipolar disorder and that she should stop taking her medication because it was just a spiritual thing. Very dangerous thing to say to someone. Oddly was also the lady whose children Linzi exorcised. Oddly wrote a letter to Jen, and Jen read that out in one of her videos. And just a couple of days after Jen's video containing Oddly's letter, Oddly received a call from Child Social Services. Linzi had called Child Social Services on Oddly to report her. Now, Oddly was just completely transparent, told them everything about her situation, what had happened, but also showed some evidence about the person who'd called, Linzi. Oddly then reached out to Jen and called her and said, I can't believe Linzi's just done this. She's called Child Social Services on me. The next day, myself and Jen receive a call from Child Social Services. The same person from the same area, Cornwall, which is where Linzi's from, made a call to Child Social Services to say that we were making videos of malicious content. This creates a problem. It's easily ironed out, but it's a frustration because we have to involve our youngest daughter's biological mother and the school to explain what's going on. And like Oddly, we also presented evidence to Child Social Services about Linzi and said that this is clearly a malicious call. They drew that same conclusion. She's now in trouble for wasting their time. I had to phone my ex to let her know that Child Social Services were calling. Fortunately, we're on really good terms. My daughter's mother and myself and Jen's ex, we're all on really good terms. We all have chat groups and we all regularly catch up and share information about our children because that's a healthy working parental relationship. Linzi didn't realise this. And when I reached out to my daughter's biological mother and told her the whole story, she told me that just before that happened, she had been reached out to by the same person on Facebook and on Instagram. I realised that my personal Facebook hadn't been locked down. I tell everybody to lock their social media down or whatever. Mine hadn't been locked down as well as I thought. So on there, I'm still connected to my ex and to Jen, but obviously all my family are on there as well. Linzi had found my ex, my daughter's biological mother, and sent her this message. Hi, hun. I'm so sorry to bother you and bring this to your door. My name is Katie, and I am from Ohio. Not Ohio or Idaho, but Ohio. I've been chatting on an online dating app to Dan. Not on an online dating app. I believe he's your ex-husband. I'm suspicious about his intentions as someone has sent me some social media videos of him and he is with another woman. He has told me that he is managing director of a company, but these videos suggest he is a psychic medium. He has asked me to send him money over, but now I've seen this information, I don't know what to do. Please can you shed some light on this for me? Warmest regards, from Kate. So she signed it from Kate, not Katie. She said her name's Katie, and then signed it Kate. So she forgot what the name was that she signed under. My ex had noticed that this profile had been created that day. So she says she's Katie, hi, my name's Katie, and then she signs it Kate, not Katie. Which, I know that sounds like semantics, but I am from Ohio. You think someone would know where they were from. Now, what we do know about Linzi, for example, is that she's not very good at spelling. So that was Facebook. She reached out to her on Instagram, and she's also reached out to my other family members. She follows under this Jigga Jolly profile. She's stalking my ex, Jen's ex. But this isn't the juicy bit. Let me tell you, this gets worse. She's been stalking my family, my brothers, our children, professional profile on LinkedIn, doxing, sharing addresses out. She's doing everything she can to stop the truth about her coming out. Now remember, this is not just mine and Jen's words. These are the words of people who she harmed, who've made videos. They're in a circle. Now, if you want to see Jen's video, I'll put the link up as well, so you can see that. You can see all those videos. You see all the proof of them, what this woman is capable of. But even after all this, we didn't realize how serious this is and how deep this runs. Not only is she stalking, and the police are describing it as stalking, our family members, but she's also affecting our children. That is where the line is absolutely drawn. So, given in mind, she's already called Child Social Services on one of the people for speaking out against her, but she's also called Child Services on us because we were speaking out and driving awareness of her. She then took it to another level. We were doing a live. I was just cooking some food in the kitchen, and the police came and knocked at the door. A number of people saw that. He asked me who I was. I said, yes, I am. He said, can I come in because there's been a serious allegation made? I went, absolutely, just give me a second. So we ended the live. I told Jen. Policeman came in. Well, he said to me, Jen didn't know at this point. Policeman said to me, an allegation has been made that you are trying to take your daughter out of the country to the US without her mother's permission. Effectively saying that I was trying to kidnap my own daughter. I invited the policeman in, of course, because we wanted to get this straightened out. I brought him into the living room, and as he was sitting down, Jen just said, before you ask any questions, does you coming round here have anything to do with a lady called either Linzi Jones or Rosemary Nagy from Cornwall? The policeman confirmed that's exactly what it was. Jen said, before you say anything else, I want to tell you about this person. What she'd done, she called Child Social Services. We showed evidence about Linzi. We showed the police report about this exorcism, and the policeman said this has clearly been a malicious call. I'm sorry to waste your time, and I'm more interested in this person and why they're wasting police time. Now, the policeman said he had to do his due diligence and had to speak to our youngest daughter. She's 9 years old. He had to speak to her because he's doing his job. Now, I said I fully respected that, and actually I'm grateful to the police service for following through on that, because there are some bad people out there, and there are people that will probably try and take their children out of the country without telling the other parent. He asked for our children to come in, and he spoke to her. Now, at this point, she's terrified. There's a policeman there. I can't speak to her beforehand because I can't be seen to be preempting anything. So we just asked them to come in the room. She sees the policeman and is terrified. She's got tears in her eyes. And the policeman asks, are your parents taking you to America? She said, no. He said, are you moving? She said, yes. Where are you moving to? And she responded, to the house. We'd just got a house. We were moving house with boxes everywhere, but we were not going to the US. He was satisfied. And he then explained to her what it was about. Didn't go into full detail, obviously, but he just said he just wanted to check for safety or whatever, check that she was okay. We thanked the police officer for coming round. He went off, marching off back to the police station because he was going to look into this whole matter because it was very clearly a malicious call. We then took some time to talk to our children and talk them through what had happened. Now, let me tell you, when you've got to look into a 9-year-old girl's eyes and explain to her and reassure her that you weren't going to take her away from her biological mother, because those are questions that were going on in her head that she should never have had to ask, never had to think about. Linzi put those questions there because she called the police. She put our children and our 13-year-old son, who was also questioned, put them through unnecessary emotional abuse just because she wants to stop the truth from coming out about her. When we were satisfied that our children were reassured and happy and they're playing again in the other room, we went live because we had to explain to everybody why a policeman came knocking at the door. Understandably, that night, emotions were running high. And it all came out. We have so much data, facts, evidence about everyone. Dean, Sally, Linzi, and it was all coming out. It was all coming out that night because clearly they're all in on it together. Linzi has been working with Dean. She's even aligning herself with Jesse King on that, what's it called, Charlatans Exposed page of hers. Linzi has been going in and following all my new followers. Anyone who comes in to the live, she messages them from that profile, sends that profile to them. She's spending so much time going through, researching. Think about this for a second, right? The amount of time you'd need to research someone, find out all their family members, write to them, create different personas, make up these stories to say things like, I'm having a relationship with someone on the side to Jen, to make up all that information, to reach out to our children, to our ex-partners, to go to those lengths to cause so much trouble and distress, to call child services, to call the police. And it's all lies. So to do all that, you've got to question, what kind of person is this? So we went live. Emotions were running high. We were frustrated. We were going through the whole story about what had happened up to that point where the police had come in. And I got to the point in the live when I was talking about how I'd had to talk to my 9-year-old daughter, look her in the eyes, her tearful eyes, and explain to her that we weren't taking her out of the country without and taking her away from her biological mum. At that point, Linzi created a fake profile, pretending to be her brother, came into the live and said, could we all stop talking about Linzi because she's unalived herself, and put mine and Jen's names in the unaliving note, self-unaliving note. We of course didn't believe this was someone who'd come in with 0 followers and 0 following, so we continued. We then invited them to come into the live, and they came in. They came in, forgetting to turn off their microphone. And we heard Linzi's voice on there. It's all on recording. We heard Linzi's voice on there, and then she quickly exited. So we carried on talking. Now, how she'd faked her own unaliving in a live. I mean, think about that for a minute. She came into a live, pretending to be someone else, saying that she had taken herself over. She faked her own death in a live to stop us talking. I mean, look at the picture this is building up. She's reaching out to child social services, she's reaching out to the police, and she's reaching out to our family members. She's stalking our family members, making up lies about us to stop us, to discredit us, to stop us from talking about her. And now she comes in and fakes her own death. About 10-15 minutes went by. We were still talking about how couldn't believe how she'd faked her own death. And then what she does is she comes back in and says, will you guys stop talking? The family are all here. They're still trying to grieve. So she's still trying to stop the live from happening. At this point, I don't know what you can do beyond faking your own death to stop people talking about you, but that's what she did. Then, when that didn't work, what she did was she went in, copied Karen's profile, a friend of ours. And so Karen lost her mum about a week and a half before that live, before Linzi called the police. Linzi made a fake profile with Karen's name on it, making comments about her mum, saying that her mum never loved her, pretending to be Karen. I mean, that's sick. You think involving children is taking it to another level. Then faking your own death is taking it to another level that no one ever thought of going to. Now she's actually faking the profile of someone who's lost their own mum within a week and a half. This is how desperate she was to stop this information coming out. Those are not the actions of an innocent person, are they? So she pretends to be Karen and says that her mum didn't care about her anyway. Then, when we called that out, she then made up a fake profile of Karen's mum. Karen's mum tragically died suddenly a week and a half before that live. She then made a profile of Karen's mum and started saying things like she never loved Karen. Now you might think after all that, that would be enough. But now Linzi's taken it to another level.
This is screen recorded live.
This is the live where Linzi has faked her own death and then pretended to be Karen's mother and Karen in the live after she's called the police. And remember, the policeman confirmed it was her. So she's called the police, faked her own death, then pretend to be Karen, and then pretend to be Karen's dead mum. Then she posts this video. She's being filmed watching the live while she's got her hands free or she's doing crochet. Who films themselves watching a live to say, hey, look, I'm not doing anything? if you're not doing anything? Number one, this didn't appear until later. So it's a recording. She's watching a screen recording of the live.
This is screen recorded live.
Two, who films themselves? Think about it for a second. Why would you film yourself watching a live to prove that you're not doing anything? It's a live broadcast, so you don't know what's going to be said. So why would you film your reactions, or to prove that you're not doing anything, or to prove that you're crocheting or whatever? Linzi must have realised how stupid and sick and twisted she'd been, and how bad it looked on her to make up a profile of Karen, a profile of her mum, and a profile of her brother to fake her own death, that she felt compelled to make a video, which happened to be of a recording of that night of the live, to prove that she's not doing anything other than crocheting and holding up her hands going, look at me, I'm not doing anything. I mean, think about it. She'd have had to set that camera up to film herself watching the live to prove that she's not doing anything. Why? If there's nothing, she doesn't know what's going to be said, it's alive. So why does she need to do that? Why does she need to film herself watching a live? And why does she need to have it so it shows that she's not doing anything if she hadn't done anything? It doesn't make any sense. Usually when it's an awareness video, what I'll do is I'll present all the information so you can make up your own minds. And I've pretty much done that. But this time, I'm going to call this out for exactly what it is. Linzi Jones is a fake medium. She's given people harmful information, telling them that their babies chose to die. Siblings are being held down by demons, but she was able to rescue them. She told people with bipolar disorder that they didn't have a mental health condition. It was in fact a spiritual issue. She then got 2 children exorcised, 9 and 15, and we've seen the police report for that. Then these people have been speaking out against her. She's been going around attacking them. The lady who Linzi performed the exorcism on her and her children, Linzi has now called Child Social Services on her. Then she called Child Social Services on us, and then she called the police and told them we were effectively trying to kidnap our own child and take her out of the country. Then when we show people the lengths that she'll go to stop this information coming out, she takes it on another stage. She fakes her own death in a live, pretending to be a brother. Then she fakes our friend and mod Karen, her profile, to hurt Karen by bringing up her mother who just passed a week and a half before, then creates a profile that was Karen's mother. And then when this has all been exposed, what she then does is she makes another video, clearly watching a recording of the live. She's filming herself saying, look, I was just minding my own business, doing my own thing, watching this live by myself. I was crocheting. I'll tell you what that is. It's deluded. The fact that someone will go to all those lengths to stop the truth coming out about themselves says a lot about that person. She's a dangerous woman. I would always say, do you know what, make up your own minds. And you can make up your own minds. But I'll tell you very strongly on this particular one. And we've come up against some difficult people. But this particular one is someone who should be avoided at all costs. She's a liar. She's a fraud. She's delusional. She's a stalker. And yes, the police have called it stalking. This is a serious matter with the police. And it's not just us who are concerned about it. Our wider family, our daughter's biological mother. There are so many people within our family who have proof of Linzi following them, stalking them, reaching out to them. She's in a whole lot of trouble. And anyone who stands by her and believes her lies, it's not going to look great from when this all comes out. I got taken in by Linzi right at the beginning. I see she's very convincing. But there are people out there who we've considered friends who seem to have been taken in by Linzi and believing what she says, or at least listening to just one side of the story. There's a couple of people have seen through this, including Sheila, to her credit, and seen the truth for what it really is. I'm sorry I had to bring this to you in the new year, and if you've made it through to this, well done. Thank you so much for watching. I just want to thank everybody for sticking by us. All our friends in the community, people who shared their videos when Linzi's reached out to them, or people who's messaged us to say, I've had this Jigger Jolly, this other page. I've had these people reach out to me talking about charlatans exposed and all this other stuff. People who are loyal to us and believe us no matter what, thank you so much for standing by us. For those of you who listen to Linzi and what she has to say, that's on you. That's not going to look great when it all comes out. That woman is in a lot of trouble, and I don't say that lightly. Everyone else, just be careful. Take care of yourselves and each other.